is Steve Bazzone, and we are here at the 16th annual Bobby Doyle Classic. Looks like we have close to 900 entries, if not more, but a beautiful day. A nice cool temperature. We could have some fast times here today.
Hey, let me just take a quick picture of that.
John,
How
you doing, John?
Steve.
Hey, right now I'd like to introduce our honorary starter and starter for today. Both friends in a row. My brother, Rick McLaughlin.
W, the person who will acknowledge that the course was run as measured.
We got witnesses.
Nat Larson said he might be able to break the M60 record. So.
Sweet.
I know how much.
So again, we're here at the Bobby Doyle's Summer Classic. I'm here with John Riley, UMass Lowell standout. John, what can you tell me about the field here today? It looks like another great field.
Yeah, it looks like a good field. I've run this race in the past. It seems like every year they get a really quality field here. The BAA is a big group that comes down every year with a lot of professional runners. There's a lot of other individual professional runners and even amateurs and collegiate runners that are competitive, and it's hard to tell who's going to take the win or who the favorite is because there's so many quality people in here.
So last year we had 20 runners break 25 minutes. Do you see a similar thing happening today?
I think so. I wouldn't be surprised. The weather's pretty nice. It's not too hot. For a summer day, this is beautiful weather for running. I think a lot of sub 25-minute times.
We have Holly Walton, who will be firing.
And John, who are you looking at that you think could possibly win this race? I saw Ben Drezick here earlier, but I know there's other quality people here at the start.
Yeah, I say Ben Drezick's one of my favorites. I could be biased because he's my training partner. He's my former teammate, but he's been training really well. He's one of the best runners in this field, but I also think Eric Hamer from the BAA is maybe getting a little overlooked. I don't know if he's raced much recently, but Eric Hamer's a 27:40 10K guy, which is very legit. He was 5th place at the NCAA championships in the 10K a few years ago, and it looks like Ben's taking it out from the start. He likes to run like that, but I guess we'll see. Those are my two favorites.
Yeah, and how about the women's field? Again, a very strong women's field, including your teammate and girlfriend, Kenzie Doyle.
Yeah, once again, probably biased, but I think Kenzie's one of the favorites. She's in really good shape. I get to see what she does every day training. So I think she's one of the favorites. I also would say Abby Wheeler seems to be one of the better runners probably over the 5-mile distance. She's around a 15:30 5K, and she's probably in pretty good shape. There's a couple other girls who've run very fast marathon times, so they could be in contention, but we'll have to see how that translates to the 5-mile distance.
So driving down here, it was raining quite a bit, but now I think it's actually perfect conditions, nice and cool. And even if it does rain, if it's just spitting, it's actually good for the runners.
Yeah, I think this is perfect running weather. It's honestly a little chilly just sitting in it, not moving that much, but this is what you want as a runner. You don't want it to be too hot. You want it to be cool enough that it's not comfortable to be standing or sitting in a t-shirt necessarily, but when you're running, it's not too bad.
So again, like you said, Ben Drezick right there doing the pace setting, but a good pack right behind him. Can you recognize any of those runners in that pack?
Yeah, I do recognize right there. It looks like in second place is Eric Hamer. It looks like Eric Hamer is in second place, who I mentioned. There's a little bit of a gap from Ben back to him. We'll see if that stays. Ben likes to lead from the front. And then I noticed in the green jersey, in right around 5th place there, Eli Moskowitz from the Battle Road Track Club is a good runner in his own respect. But I'd be interested to see from the first to the second mile if the group catches up to Ben here. He put what looks like probably like a 10-meter gap or so on him.
Yeah, and what can you say about this start? A nice downhill start, but it could get you caught up in going out too fast. So you look at these guys that's going at a decent pace right now.
Yeah, I'd say by the fact that they're not going with Ben this early means that he's probably running pretty fast right now. The first mile of this race, I've run it before. It's fast, but it's also very easy to get caught up in the pace because, like you said, it's slightly downhill. So you're going to naturally run a little quicker than you feel like you're going this first mile. I'm not sure what they're on pace for right now yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if the first mile is right around 4:20 or so.
Yeah, that would be a quick mile. So last year, Ben ran, I think, just over 24 minutes. You look at him as being a guy that's in maybe 23:40 shape or 20 even faster?
Definitely, I think so. I mean, I think Ben was capable of faster last year. I think he didn't have his best race. Again, I get to train with Ben on a daily basis almost, so I know what kind of shape he's in. And I'd be surprised if he didn't run well under 24 minutes today. He's been putting in 110 miles a week for about 3 or 4 months now straight, and his workouts have been really good. And yeah, I honestly see him probably holding the pace that he's doing right now, depending on what the first mile is.
Yeah, which we'll find out soon, I guess.
Yeah.
So I saw Ben at the Arnold's Mills Road Race where he set a course record, and I guess he had to overcome some injuries, but now he seems like in very good shape.
Yeah, so he had a little hamstring issue in late April, early May. He's a steeple chaser on the track, and he tweaked his hamstring during practice doing jumps over some barriers, and he had to miss a couple weeks because of that. He probably didn't lose too much fitness, although he's tough on himself, so he probably thought it was worse, but he missed a couple weeks, and that was his first race back at Arnold Mills. And I know he was a little nervous for that, but he obviously ran really well.
Yeah,
4:32 for the first mile, so not as quick as I thought it would be, but still definitely not a slow first mile. That's pretty fast.
He still looks, he looks very comfortable.
Yeah.
So getting to Kenzie, I mean, winning the Blessing of the Fleet for the second straight year, the 10 miler showed very strong in hot conditions. What do you see as far as the difference with Kenzie? Because her career has really taken off over the last year and a half.
Yeah, the difference is probably going to sound obvious, but it's just her training. There's other things too. Obviously, her mindset and her mentality are better, but her training is night and day compared to how it was a few years ago. I think part of that's because her mentality's improved, and part of it's probably just because she's gotten stronger over the years. But I know that last summer she made a huge jump, and even this summer she's much more fit than she was a year ago. She's been running 90 miles a week, and she impresses me all the time with her training. She crushes long runs and workouts constantly, so I'd be interested to see what she can do here. She's run just under 5:40 pace for a few 5-mile tempos this summer, which is pretty fast, and that's just for a workout, so I'm curious to see what she'll do in a race.
Did she let you know on a potential goal that she wants, like breaking 27 or anything like that?
She hasn't put a time goal on it that I've heard. If she does, she hasn't told anyone. All she's said is that she wants to win. I think that's her main goal coming out here. It's the summer's a weird time sometime for college athletes to race, because I think a lot of us are trying to be in our best shape to race in October and November. So this time of year, you're kind of just training. You're not really too ready to race at your best. So I don't think she wants to put a time goal on it, because she doesn't know what kind of race shape she's in. She just wants to go out and compete for the win.
Yeah, and a win here for Kenzie would be extra special. Seeing how this race is in honor of her dad, the great Bobby Doyle, one of the, perhaps the best Rhode Island marathoner we've ever seen in our state. So I'm sure that's motivating her today.
Yeah, definitely. Her dad is a big factor in getting her start in the sport, and I would say what motivated her to take it seriously and be good at it. Obviously, her brothers had a huge impact on that too. Her brothers, Brian especially, was really good and has done really well at this race in the past. So, yeah, I think she hasn't won this race before. It's just because it's always been super competitive, but I think that she has a good shot at winning it this year, and even if not, definitely in the future years, you know, should love to win this race because of the connection to her family.
So, John, like you said, you've run this course before. What can you tell us about this course? It seems like it's a pretty fair course. They got a nice hill on Point Judith Road, but it's a course that you can get a decent time on.
Yeah, I think so. I think, like I said, the beginning of it is deceivingly downhill. It's not super steep, so you don't necessarily realize it, but maybe until you hit the clocks and you see the splits, how fast they are. But I'd say the first 2 miles are usually not too bad. It's slightly downhill, and you know, the first 2 miles of a 5-mile race sometimes are kind of, you're not going to be really hurting too bad this far in yet, unless you're well over your head. But most of these guys in the front group here are probably uncomfortable, but not really in pain at this point. They're probably just, I imagine it feels like a fast pace, and in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I imagine some of them will really start hurting.
Yeah, it seems like this is the group. One of these guys is one of the guys that's going to win. It seems like they got a decent lead on the runner behind them. Do you look at it that way? That it's probably going to be one of these guys at this point? Is that too early?
I don't think it's too early. I don't know which one it's going to be, but I'd say this group of 4 right here, they look like they're, if anything, putting a bigger gap on the guys behind. I don't think the guys behind are holding or catching up at all. It looks like it's just growing. And it is always tough with the gaps to tell from this angle from the front, but they're definitely getting further off in the distance. And this group, none of them are strung out right here. They're all pretty packed together. So they're running fast, but they're all probably fairly comfortable. Otherwise, I think they'd be a little bit more strung out, single file or so.
Yeah, and each one of them looks pretty comfortable. Do you look at any of those as looking a little more comfortable?
Yeah. Say that again?
Do you look at any of these runners as looking more comfortable than the rest, or do you think right now it's hard to tell?
It's hard to tell. I mean, Ben is a runner who I don't know if you can necessarily judge him by his face, because Ben's kind of a grinder. He likes to run hard from the front. So a lot of people, you know, would rather bide their time and run more sit and kick style. And but Ben likes to lead. He likes to do the work, and I've seen Ben look terrible in races before and end up running really well. So I'd say most of them look fairly comfortable. You can see every now and then a little grimace on some of their faces, but I know Ben the best, and he looks pretty good.
Yeah, so pretty soon we'll be getting to a long downhill portion of the race. Seems to be the point that someone makes a move at that point. Do you think that's what's going to happen potentially?
Yes, I think if they get a good downhill, I think someone will make a move if it's the right distance into the race. I think probably between 3.5 and 4 miles would be a good spot for someone to make a move. I know when I run this distance, I usually target about a mile to go to really try to start to drop whoever I'm with. So I'll be interested to see if they stay together for a while or not. I think if they are all still together closer to the end of the race within the last mile, then I would say that they're probably all pretty maxed out. Because if you felt good, I think you'd probably put a move on everyone. So.
Thank you.
So, John, I'm definitely happy to have you here, but any reason why you're not in this race? Is it?
I'm injured right now.
You're
actually,
injured, okay.
Yeah, I planned on doing this race. I was hoping to come down and finally try to win this race, but I have an Achilles injury that popped up a couple weeks ago, and I want to try to have a good fall training
Absolutely.
block. So
Yeah, you had a very good year at UMass, American East 10K champ, right?
yeah,
As well as cross country champ.
yeah. Thank you, I appreciate that.
And who do we have here as taking the lead? All right, we're gonna find out who this runner is in the lead. Yeah, it does look like we got a runner making a move right here. We're gonna find out who that is, but this is the place to do it.
Kind of the Dylan just
Okay, so it's Dylan
He's leading.
Gieringer
5.
is the runner that's taking the lead right now, and he's getting a significant gap right now already coming down this hill. Like I said, seems to be where they make the move, and he's making a strong move.
Yeah, this is interesting to see. I'll be interested to see if anyone tries to bridge the gap, or rather if he holds this pace. It is a downhill, like you said, so it's not for certain that he's feeling great. He could just be using the downhill to his advantage, and the other guys could be biding their time, but they also could be hurting, and they could be choosing to not go with him, or they could not be able to go with him. So we'll definitely see that. There's the 3 mile mark there. We'll see probably in the next mile or so if anyone puts a move on them.
14:10.
Okay, and we have 14:10 at the 3 mile mark.
14:10 at 3 miles, so that's around a little bit over 4:40 pace.
And I believe the course record it's 23:20 or 23:30.
It might be. I think it might be a little bit quicker. I'm not sure.
Okay, so we have 14:41 at the 5K mark, and I would say what's that, about a 8-10 second lead right now at this
Yeah,
point?
it looks like the lead is definitely a sizable one right now, probably about 30 meters or so. 14:41 was the 5K split. So just like we said, at 3 miles, that's about 4:40 pace, a little bit over 4:42 or so, which is a fast pace, but not something that I expected Ben or Hamer to struggle with. And who's to say that they're struggling? Like I said, they could be biding their time, but they're definitely 30 or 40 meters back right now, and it doesn't look like they're necessarily covering the move.
Yeah, you're right. And he's roughly got a little over 1.5 miles to go. This downhill continues to go, but then it levels off, but then you got that slight incline coming back to the finish.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how he handles that. I know when I've run this race in the past, I was a little nervous for the, coming off the downhill to go into an uphill, thinking I'd be struggling with that. But I will say there is a little kick of adrenaline, I say, that you'd get towards the end of a race. That's usually what most people get and how they kick. So that sometimes I think will cancel out the fact that it's uphill, is that, once it gets to be uphill, you can kind of see closer to where the finish line is, and you might be kicking harder anyways.
It doesn't look like anyone's really making a move behind him, too.
No, it doesn't. Those three seem like they're still together.
Yeah, it's too bad we can't see how the women's race is developing, because I'm sure it's probably just as exciting as this one. But it just seems like these conditions are ideal.
Yeah, this is really good running weather. It doesn't seem very humid, which a lot of times it is if it's overcast or a little bit cooler, but it's not much humidity, and it feels, I don't know the actual temperature, it feels like it's in the 60s or so though, which seems like great running weather. These guys haven't had to take too much water.
You guys talked to the Danny Brennan?
I have.
Yeah, so after our fourth place runner, which is the three guys behind our leader, it seems like the next pack is way back. So it looks like we have our top four finishers right here. And again, the 16th annual Bobby Doyle Summer Classic. And it certainly is a classic, this race, every year. And again, this race is part of the USATF New England Grand Prix Series, which tends to draw some great competition here. I think we have over 900 runners. There was 880, I think, pre-entries, according to Danny Brennan, and we had to have more than 20 entries the day of. So we're definitely probably close to 1,000. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it's around 1,000. That's what I heard. I did just get word that the women's leader apparently is Kelly Kellner right now.
Okay.
And Abby Wheeler is in second place, and Kenzie Doyle is in third, right on Wheeler. So apparently the three of them are pretty close together. Oh, yeah!
So no real lead on the leader. They're all close, you said?
That's what I was told. Yes.
Okay.
Kellner apparently has been leading, but the three of them are fairly close.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much looking at our winner right now, because I can't see those guys.
Yeah, someone would need to drop a ridiculously fast closing mile if they were going to catch him right now, which is not impossible, I should say, but it's, like you said, it's probably unlikely. He'd either need to really slow down, or one of them would need to do something impressive right now.
But nothing in his form looks like he's going to slow down.
No, he doesn't. You can see his face starting to grimace, so he's definitely getting pretty uncomfortable, but he's not tying up or anything. His form still looks fine. And I'd say it's close enough to the finish right now where he can even afford to slow up a little bit if he needs to, and he'll probably be good.
So again, this is Dylan Erringer. Hopefully I pronounced his name right. Leading this race, which he's done since about just after 3 miles, or actually right around 3 miles. So he looks very strong, but I think we are looking at our winner. And it seems like we're gonna have a race for second with the 3 guys behind him.
Yeah, the pack of 3 right now, that is the chase pack, is they look pretty condensed, and yeah, they're gonna have a race on their hands for second place. I remember when I run this race, this part of the course right here is where I started to get pretty excited, because you can start to see the area where the finish line is coming up in sight, and it becomes once you can kind of sense the finish line coming up, you know where the end of the race is coming, and that's when you kind of have to start to get going. So I imagine those guys are really probably really hurting right now, but they don't have too much further to go, luckily.
So this race is a perfect way to end the summer, because you have the Blessing of the Fleet that begins it in late July, and then Run for Kerry last week, and now this race. A good stretch of 3 very good races.
Yeah, definitely. I think this definitely attracts a lot more of the college competition too, because of the distance. College athletes usually are training for the 8K, which is pretty much the same as 5 miles. So this is like a good race to kind of test out their fitness that they've gained over the summer and see what they're dealing with going into cross-country season.
So we just saw Dylan look back at the pack, so I think that's the first time he's done it. And I'm sure he probably didn't realize he had that big a lead.
Yeah, I think he's probably really hurting at this point, I'd imagine, given how close to the finish it is. And I know I have a natural tendency sometimes to look back towards the end of a race. He probably has a natural tendency right now to want to slow down because he's hurting so bad. So he's probably looking back to see how much he can afford to ease off towards the end.
Motorcycle and the truck coming through.
So just about a quarter of a mile left, if not even less, for Dylan Erwinger, our winner, it looks like, of the Bobby Doyle Summer Classic, I should say, who is going to be our winner.
Yeah, and there he is. He's got it.
So Dylan Erwinger, our winner, it looks like 23:32.
That's a good time.
Where it gets difficult.
Number 319, that is Eric Hammer from Jamaica playing representing BAA as well. More BAA, that's number 628. That is Jack Pino, number 451, representing BAA. Eric Newman, great racer Eric, pocket at 24:20. Unbelievable finish. BAA is having a day. That is number 6 coming through right now. Number 6 coming up is Jonas Hampton. Number 338.
So again, we have our finishers coming in for the Bobby Doyle Summer Classic. We're still waiting for the first woman to come across. Looks like Nick Selico, Bishop Hendrickson.
Number 641 right here thinking now is John Rizzi. Coming through number 5.
So we're hoping you can hear Danny Brennan. He's given us a list of all these runners that are coming across the line.
We just passed the 25-minute mark, so we should hopefully in the next couple minutes be seeing the first women's finisher. Probably right around 27 minutes. Ideally under that if they're running really fast, but
It's Troy Silvestri from Bishop Hendrickson grad. 25:36 about. Yeah, we should have our first female pretty soon. Okay, it does look like we have our first female. It's like what, 26, 29?
yeah, 26, 28, 26, 29, a really good time. And there's Kenzie Doyle, our second place female. 26:50 or so.
I'm sure Kenzie's going to be very happy with that time.
Yeah, that's about a minute faster than she ran at the same race last year, so she'll be happy with that. And Abby Wheeler, our third place female right here, coming in.
Former Providence College standout.
27-19 career.
Patrick Bucky from the Dukes. Looks like we got our fourth place female right here, representing the Summerfield Conference. That is Eula Sabrowski.
So John, thanks for joining me here at the Bobby Doyle Summer Classic. It's been great hearing your insight and having you on board.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
But again, we're going to keep the camera rolling as the finishes come through here at the 16th annual Bobby Doyle Summer Classic.
Number 741 right now, representing R3 Elite. That's Thomas Phelps. Mike Daniels coming through right now. Katie Arnold.
Should grab my camera. Good job, no.
Number 394, that's Police. Number 515, Shane McMahon. Number 8, coming up right now, that is Shione Joe. And number 8, number 596, Reverend PAA, Sophia Paiva.
Come on, Sophia!
Number
Yay,
797,
Sophia!
number 168, that is Lynn Barstow.
How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
See ya.
Number 775, approaching the finish line, this is number Brian Trahan. Number 560, let's get up for Cass Luma. And number 379 in the blue, get up for Michael Johnson. 63 is Sage Belver, and number 44, that's Matthew Lamar. Give it up for number 480, Chip Man. Nice job, Chip. Number 506, let's give it up for Karen Davies. Number 101, Tim Tarzan Rosny. Coming through right now, number 536, we got Vittorio Molinari. Number 514, give it up for Mike McMahon. And number 386, Number 676, give it up for Bob Weaver. Number 780, approaching the finish line, Adriana Tyler. Nice job, Adriana. And number 601, Leanne Pecos. Nice job, Leanne. Number 242, that's Doug Dyer.
I said, there's no gun in that. They should have a sign up that says finish line.